When I get there and I just pretty much start talking about anything except real estate. But just letting them know, I don't want to come across as, how many years I've been in the industry or how many closings or anything. I just try and get them to just, get to know me as a person.
Hey, what's up, Karyn
Hi,
Holbrook? How are you today?
great, David. How are you today?
I'm doing great, thank you. Welcome to your coaching call, and we've got about 20 minutes. So I want to make sure that you leave with some nugget, something that's going to help you on your journey. So what do you want to talk about today?
Oh, I would like to talk about listings. Con-
Listings.
yes, listings.
Okay.
Yes.
What about listings?
When I go on listing appointments, I'm converting, coming across as the best possible option for the seller.
Okay. What does that mean exactly?
If I up against other agents, what can I do to stand out? Focus on building the rapport with them and what I can provide for services. And just, if there are other agents that have been in the door, what can I do to try and secure that listing?
Okay. So how to get listings, how to take listings.
Right.
Now, have you had some challenges in the past where you've lost some listings to other agents?
I did once recently, probably about a year and a half ago. And when I went back to ask why I wasn't chosen, that seller had said that another agent offered a homeowner's warranty.
Oh,
So I
okay.
try and do that now a lot. I was just curious. They hadn't brought that up as, sticking points. So I think just always coming from the seller's perspective, trying to anticipate any objections that they typically will throw at us, and just how to guide them through it effortlessly.
Okay. So you said you've only lost one listing. How many have you gone on?
Oh, I've gone on a lot. Yeah, luckily mine have all been referrals. So when I've gone,
Okay.
I've already pretty much had
Got
them.
it.
But that was one that an attorney made me on, and that was the reason why they were getting divorced. And they agreed on me. Both parties agreed on using me, but the reason I lost that was because of the homeowners warranties.
Interesting. So then are you thinking about pursuing some other sources of listings besides referrals? Is that why we're having this
Yeah,
conversation?
my goal is to focus on sale by owners, converting them, and going after my expired. And the best way to approach that.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
So now all of a sudden you're going to be dealing with some sellers that you don't know,
right.
maybe that you don't have the what's it called, the maybe not rapport is not the right word, but the referral, the recommendation, right?
Yes, and they don't know me.
And they don't
So,
know you. Yeah. So how does that make you feel?
I'm actually pretty comfortable. When I get there and I just pretty much start talking about anything except real estate. But just letting them know, I don't want to come across as, how many years I've been in the industry or how many closings or anything. I just try and get them to just, get to know me as a person.
Uh-huh.
So there are times that I don't bring the paperwork with me and get them to sign. So I know I have like 2 listings coming up, but I need to get the paperwork signed. So that's kind
Yeah.
of, learning how to really get that secured right then and there, even if I know I'm the one that they're going to use. But still just, okay, here's the paperwork, let's go.
Yeah. So, okay, so I'm going to touch on both of those things. You first said you're talking, you get there, you talk about anything except real estate.
Yeah, well, I mean, at first when I go in, I'll, if I don't know them, and if I'm previewing for maybe a potential buyer, I'll just go in and just talk about the home or something on the wall, something that, we can have a conversation about, just so I don't come off too salesy.
So you're trying to build rapport.
Yes, I do. I build rapport and I can be there for hours. And then sometimes I leave and I don't have the signed agreement, or
Hours?
I could be, just chatting. Like my last two, I was there for
Yeah.
hours and they grilled me burgers and whatnot. So we can just chat, talk about the property and whatnot. And yeah, even if they're shoo-in, sometimes I'm just right then and there need to just give the paperwork and ask them to sign it. Sometimes I'll go home and send it the next day. But I feel like if I didn't, then I do stand a chance of losing.
Oh, yeah. Well, we talked about this last week is once you leave without the paperwork signed,
It doesn't really count.
then yeah. Or even sometimes when you do get the paperwork signed, but far out, it may not pan out.
Right.
Right. But we'll focus first up. Let's get the paperwork signed. Right. All right. So what, and then you said you don't even bring the paperwork with you. Tell me about that strategy.
So sometimes, I mean, in the past, it depends if someone's a little bit older and they don't have a computer. I just try and go in and make it really easy for the seller to know that everything can be signed in dot loop. I can send over documents later. I explain what the documents will be when I first send it over. Yeah, I have.
That?
Yes.
All my contracts are on it. Everything's on it. It's a pen.
Yeah.
This, as a matter of fact, I like to tell the seller, have you ever used one of these to sign?
No, I have not.
Oh my, it is so smooth. Like if it signs like butter, like it's the nicest pen. Like I will tell sellers, like you've got to feel how they're like, oh my gosh, that is so nice.
Pen in the world.
It's crazy. And you have all your contracts, everything's right in there. I'm telling you, I'm not exaggerating. Like it writes so nice. It's beautiful.
Awesome.
So
Love it.
carrying one of those with you for starters.
Yep.
Do you have one?
I do.
Does it have the pen?
Show you.
Okay, good. So there's an easy first solution.
Yes.
Oh, is that a writing? That's not a tablet, is it?
Oh no, but it will hold one.
Okay, got it. So the nice thing about the tablet is as soon as they sign, I can then email it right to them.
Right. Okay.
You know?
Yes.
So,
right. You don't have your laptop and the what? Yes. So okay.
yeah, and you don't have to download paperwork later or scan. So anyway, we're going a little off on a tangent here, but just some ideas to show. And then the other thing with that is with technology, right? Especially as you're going into some new realms with different types of sellers, and you want to talk about tech, it may help as well when you show up with that technology.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Just a little thing, like all the little things add up.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, just to show that we have the tools to keep it easy and smooth.
Yeah. So anyway, that's just a thought. But okay, so I think I was asking you why you didn't bring the paperwork with you, and you're saying because the seller, why you're not? Because I think there's something important to understand there that will help us.
Thank you. Yes. I think just maybe being presumptive and coming across maybe presumptive that I already had it prepared.
Presumptive, how so?
Well, maybe that's a good thing. That's not necessarily a bad thing.
What do you mean is a good thing?
Well, as far as when we get to the point to sign the contract, if they're maybe still on the fence, but then I pull it out as if I guess maybe that's not a bad thing though, because I'm coming from the position of it will happen.
Well, let me ask you this question, Karyn. If you were interested in buying something, and then you went to someone else came over to your house and then talked to you about it and then left without even asking you to buy it.
Yes.
What would you think of that salesperson?
I would think that was a little weak.
Huh?
Weak. Not close.
Well, I mean, I want them to sell something like you're going to apply for the job of selling the house.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So I want you to think about this on the next appointment. Remember that most people, they're evaluating you. Like you're going on a job interview.
Yes.
So they're looking at not only do you, okay, great, I can have rapport with anybody. I can have a burger with anybody, but is this the person that's going to get me the most amount of money for my house with the least amount of problems?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So again, somebody there, there may be some sellers, oh gosh, I love the fact that there was, she didn't ask, I don't know. I mean, the majority of people, at the least you're going to want to ask,
yes,
are you ready to put me to work?
Right. Okay.
You know, if you want, you can put me to work now. I understand the house isn't going to come on the market for a couple weeks, but I can get to work now helping you with some pre-marketing stuff. So
Yeah.
are you ready to engage that?
Right. In that way. Yeah. Okay. I understand. Yeah. 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 It won't come across necessarily. I might be viewing it like, do they think I'm just being too cocky? Like, I got it. And then I'm a little
Well,
bit
you
more.
do got it.
I do.
Yeah, you do got it. You have to got it.
Well,
Because
that's
if you feel like you don't, then they're going
no.
to know that.
Yeah. Right. And then I can start marketing right away too. So that's,
It's confidence, not cocky,
yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yes.
I'll tell you that the sellers they'll appreciate somebody confident that shows up.
Right.
I
Right.
think I shared this morning on how I took that $1.2 million listing, and the guy's like, no, I have two other agents that said they do it for 4%. I'm like, well, listen, this is what we do. This is why we do it. So what's more important? Is it what you pay for a commission, or is it what you walk away with?
Right.
And he's like, well, aren't they the same? They're not the same. No, because, and I explained the reasons why. And he's like, well, I don't know. I need to think about it. I said, all right, man. Well, you know what? Think about it. You got my number. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, shit, I should just take, I should just take, I was in my own mind, I was like, oh, I should just take it. I mean, it's 1.2, but I didn't. And then the next day he called me. He's like, you know what? I'm going to go with you.
Yeah.
Anyway, over the other two that offered it to do it for less.
Right. Right.
Because he sensed the confidence and the ability to just be like, there's no attachment.
Right. I see. Yeah. I love that.
But I did not ask for the business.
Right.
Like I didn't just go out there, meet with him and say, okay, great. Well, let me know. I said, no, are you ready to get going? He's like, really? Well, yeah. Well, yeah, maybe. And then he's like, but I'm like, well, what's in the way? Well, there's two other agents, one said they do 4, and I got to talk to my business partner and blah, blah, blah. But
yeah. Yeah. No, I think you're right. You go in there as if you own it.
yeah. So what can we do now? So I want to switch things around a little bit for you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, first off, what have you taken so far from the conversation we've had?
Oh, definitely. Just, believing in myself, going in there with confidence, going in there as if I already have it, and not be afraid to ask for the business. No, and that they would appreciate that. So
But do you have the confidence going in?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Like I said, usually it's probably just a little bit laziness on my part, not printing out the paperwork because I know I can just send it over later. But I think that having it hard copies, like I always have over the years before we did everything through, online electronic signature, we would go through it. And then I call them later and go through every page anyway. So just kind of like sitting at the kitchen table and making it all official versus just kind of like, they'll always feed me and we'll chat and we'll walk around the yard. Okay.
That's funny. I've never had one meal at a seller's house.
Oh no, I've had another one like had me over and they made me breakfast. Like the whole family was there. Yeah, I've met some amazing people.
Yeah,
so.
that's cool.
Yeah,
well, that's your style, right? So if that's your style, that's fine.
But I need to know.
Yeah.
I'm leaving without having things signed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm proud of my best listening presentation. 17 minutes in and out. Met with a high D.
Yeah.
First question: what do you want? You want? Yeah. You want to
think-
tour the house first, or you want to go over the paperwork first? And he said, I want to go over the paperwork first. Perfect. We went over the paperwork. He walked me through the house in like 5 minutes and we were done.
Yeah.
And I sent my photographer over and.
Yeah. I spend way too much time just chatting and then I'm there for 2.5 hours and I love it. But I could have been on, 2 others during that 2.5 hour time frame as well. So.
Well, that's another call. That's another coaching call, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you want to figure out a way that you can, if it's important to you. If it's not important to you, then you won't make that change. But if it becomes important enough to say, okay, instead of my listing appointments taking 2 hours or an hour and a half, whatever they take, I want it to be done in no more than 60 minutes or 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Then you'll become more intentional and purposeful.
Okay.
In those appointments. But it has to first start with a thought.
Yes.
How long would the ideal appointment be for you?
I would say an hour. And I would say if people, if I call someone and I'm going to say I'm going to go over, it's nice to give them, I need about maybe an hour of your time versus, I'm going to be there for 3 hours or something like that. So,
Yeah.
like you said, we can get in and out in probably a half an hour, but I would say I would like to schedule an hour of time. If you think that's
So
fair.
what if on your next appointment, before you go, what if you said to the seller something like, hey, just confirming our appointment, we still on track? Yeah, great. Just so you know, our appointment should take about 60 minutes or less,
Okay.
depending on how many questions we have. Is that okay with you?
Yeah. Okay.
Now you're setting the expectation ahead of time before you go.
Right.
What do you think of that when I say that? How does that make you feel?
No, it makes me feel okay. I can narrow it down. Everyone's time is so precious. And I think it will just, they're probably more nervous about me being there than I am about being there. So, yeah, just knowing that there's a set time, we go through the process and then keep it right on, just a schedule. Efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So give me a couple takeaways that you took from this conversation today. A couple things that you're going to do going forward.
Right. I'm going to be totally prepared to have them sign listing paperwork when I go on the listing appointment. I will
Okay.
I'll let them know in advance that it'll take about an hour so that they know that I kind of set the precedent and let them know maybe that I have another appointment right after. And then my other takeaway is just, having the confidence to go in. And maybe it's cocky also if I go in, I don't have the paperwork signed because maybe, the neighbor will come over and be like, oh, my realtor just signed, they signed with this other realtor yesterday. So you never know, like, my own sister could do that. So I think that it's okay to just solidify it. And they're going to know where I'm coming from because they'll kind of know my personality. So I don't think it will come off as anything negative.
Are you the best fit for them?
Yes.
You sure?
Yes, I am.
I just met you a couple weeks ago and I think you're the best fit for them. Like you care, right? I can tell you care. Like you're doing such a good job for us on the listing I had you help me with.
Thank you.
Like I get that sense. Like, and I think people know that.
Yeah, I get to know people. And that,
Yeah.
again, that open house, and I've had multiple conversations with a few folks from there, and we're on the phone for half an hour, even with the other agent, just chat. Okay, let's get back to the house stuff.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time getting to know people. And that's the former flight attendant in me, just like I'm curious about people. And yeah, time
Cool.
for having fun, but I do need to streamline it. Because
Yeah.
then I can check that off. I don't have to do it tomorrow. I can check it off of today's list. Right? I don't have to carry over some of today's, responsibilities into tomorrow. Okay, I got to finish up last night's appointment, send, next morning, send the listing. No, I'm going to get the most bang for my buck. Work harder, not smarter. Or smarter, not harder.
Yeah. I mean, and you can still do it by paper. You don't have to go get a tablet, although tablets are nice to have, especially now if you have a phone that's connected to Wi-Fi, you can bring up your comps. You can do I don't even print paper anymore. Everything comes on my tablet.
Yeah.
But that's another comp. But yeah, I think by you showing up, being awesome, making a connection, and then not asking for the sale.
Yeah.
That's actually, you're actually doing yourself and them a disservice.
Yeah.
They probably want to work with you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever thought of it that way.
Oh.
Like I remember years ago when I was selling advertising for this magazine, I went on this appointment with this guy. He was it was a sale coding company.
Mm-hmm.
I just got started. I drove out to oh God, where was it? It was Saugus, super far, right? Saugus, it was traffic, 128 from Worcester. And I went through the whole thing with him. And then at the end, I wasn't really sure how to close. So I never really closed. And I left and I went back. And then he listed with a competitor, and he would have signed on the spot.
Right.
But I didn't ask him to sign.
Right. I think that will only happen once to all of us.
Yeah. Well, it happened to me.
It's going to happen to me if I don't get my,
Yeah. And I make a lot more money selling real estate than I did selling advertising. That was like a $12,000 sale that I would have made like $4,000. This is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Right. No, I think that just like we talked about on this morning's call too, coming from remembering from the seller or the customer's point of view, not necessarily from what we think they're thinking, right?
amen.
They're thinking, oh, she's pushy. Are you going to sign today? You know, will you sell today? All of that. No, they're probably looking for someone that has, you know, the confidence to ask for it. Let's get it done. Let's go.
Yeah, because what are they thinking? Like, well, geez, how is she gonna, how will she respond to the buyers when they show up at my house?
Yeah.
Is she gonna let them go away till the next day this is a generalization. I'm not trying to pick on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just, will they wait till the next day and then they buy something else?
Right. Right. Yeah.
You
And
know?
then if they did say anything negative, you can always just say that, well, this is how I, you know, go to bat.
Well, they wouldn't. Yeah, but why would they? So with this conversation, we're gonna wrap it up. But with everything is based on timing and sequence. So yes, if you ask for the signatures of the contract at the wrong time, it doesn't make sense. But when the timing's right, you've done everything right, then it only makes sense to ask. And if you don't ask, then it becomes like, holy cow, what just happened? That's weird. Like, why? Like, right? You meet with a salesperson, you go to a store, you try your dress, you go through the whole process, and then at the end, okay, great, you ready to purchase a dress? Let's bring you up to the register. What if they said, okay, great, let's put the dress back on the shelf? You'd be like, well, what do you mean?
Right. Right.
Right?
Yeah.
We just went through this whole process and now we're going to put it back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just something to think about.
Yeah, for sure. No, I appreciate it. It's hard to admit, like, you know, your faults, but it's what's going to help us, you know, grow further as realtors and individuals. And
Well, that's my goal, right? To
Yeah.
challenge your thinking, help you get a little bit more effective at this. And you're already really good. So this will just help you get you some more time. Make sure you'll get more, signatures, especially as you're approaching people now that you don't know.
Right. Yeah, it's a whole new game.
Yeah, especially when it's competitive now. They may be meeting with 3 or 4 realtors now.
Right.
So if you don't get signatures, forget about it. Because
Exactly.
if the next guy shows up behind you,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Yeah.
All right, give me your 2 biggest takeaways from this call.
Well, as always, follow up. My 2 biggest takeaways from this call would be to just have everything prepared for my listing appointments, going in and getting everything signed, and just, you know, letting them know up front, maybe that I'll be bringing the paperwork. I'll be there for an hour. We'll get it done, and just come off like just all the confidence in the world that I have, but I just don't have to worry as much about how they might be perceiving me. Or maybe, you know, or that they're not necessarily perceiving me as like a salesperson, but that I'm really there to guide them and help them through this process.
Well, you are a salesperson too, though.
Yeah.
And you also said, I think you had said, let them know that maybe I'll be bringing the paperwork.
Yeah.
I think you added that word maybe in there. I don't know. I'll have to listen to this again, but I think you did.
That I am going to be bringing the paperwork.
All right, good for you. Yeah, you're good. You're really good at this, so you're fine.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I love it.
You'll be fine.
I appreciate you and your trust in me and with the open house yesterday. So.
Yeah, you got it. We appreciate you, and I'm glad this was helpful for you, and I look forward to seeing how you implement it, and the follow up, the process. Let me know how it's going. What would your life be like if your 3-hour listing appointments or your 2-hour, whatever, it turned into 1 hour every time? What would that do for you?
Well, I would probably triple my business because I'll be on 2 other listing appointments as well during that time. So yes, I think that, it will streamline, like I said, and help me generate more business.
Awesome. Was this a good use of your time?
Oh, always. Always. Thank you.
All right. Well, I appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right.